The Rams starting left tackle Alaric Jackson is going to be out for 2 games due to a personal conduct violation suspension. We're going to get into it. Before we do, just want to let you guys know that you can like, subscribe, and follow. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at Ellenbogen and drop a comment. In addition to that, today's sponsor of this video is BetUS, which you can get 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with BetUS. Check my promo link in the description and the comments section below to sign up today. All right, so Alaric Jackson was just suspended by the NFL for 2 games, like I just mentioned, and he's going to miss the Lions game and the Cardinals game because of it. Now, I'm going to explain because there's a lot going on here. On this channel, as you've come to realize, we don't just talk about what happened. We talk about the other things, the essentially the different chains that connect to what's going on. And what I mean by that is with Alaric Jackson being suspended, something has to occur. And that means that, one, we're going to be talking about Joseph Noteboom. We're going to be talking about Warren McClendon Jr. a little bit, and we'll be talking about A.J. Arcuri. Let's take it from the top here, though. He is not going to count against the 53-man roster. I know I get that question a lot. Is Jimmy Garoppolo? Does he count? Does Tyler Higbee? Do they have to keep him? They don't. Tyler Higbee can go on the physically unable to perform list and still be okay to be activated later on in the year. As far as, Jimmy Garoppolo goes, Jimmy Garoppolo is suspended. Okay, he's going to be on the suspended list. Does not count against the 53. And the same is going to be true with Alaric Jackson. Jackson hasn't been practicing. He is banged up. So you're not, if you're wondering why, hey, he's not even healthy, what's going on? He's still suspended. Now, why is he suspended? What is this, personal conduct? I have no idea. And unfortunately, I was waiting for that, which is why it took me a little bit to make the video. But I didn't find that out. I asked around, could not figure it out. And so I want to make a very quick comment. I think the NFL needs to do a better job, okay? If the NFL comes out and has a laundry list and just, media dumps all of these suspensions, because he's not the only one. Zay Jones got suspended, another player. There's plenty of suspensions that were just, dished out for personal conduct, okay? We don't know what those are. And so I have an issue with that. I feel like there needs to be more transparency here, not just, because of, the fans, but also the reporters and, people like me that actually are trying to give you guys the information and give our thoughts on it. Because I can't defend Alaric Jackson. I have no idea what he was suspended for. I also can't say the NFL was wrong for suspending him. I have no idea what he was suspended for. So that's where I'll leave it there. Alaric Jackson started 15 games last year for the Rams. Then, in addition to that, also the playoff game against the Lions. Joe Noteboom would be the presumed starter here. He and Warren McClendon Jr. have taken snaps with the ones at left tackle. So I wanted to make that very clear that these guys have been getting work in that role. And in a way, I'm not going to say it's a blessing in disguise, but it's kind of weird, right? Alaric Jackson hasn't even been practicing. He's been banged up. So I think I'd rather have Joseph Noteboom starting at the beginning of the year, if anything, because he's actually been getting reps there. So Noteboom actually started 2 games at left tackle last year. He's had experience in the past filling in for, an injured, Andrew Whitworth and playing guard. He's been Mr. kind of, do it all, right? And we saw that last year, filling in at certain positions. But last year also, what we saw with Joseph Noteboom is he filled into 2 games. The Colts game, which was the debut, the Rams debut of Kevin Dotson, and the Giants game, which I was at that game. And right before the game starts, we find out left tackle Alaric Jackson is out due to a personal reason, right? So that was kind of a big deal. And Noteboom in both games I thought played pretty well. He struggled a little bit against the Colts, gave up 4 pressures, but against the Giants, he was absolutely flawless. Go back and watch the film if you're concerned about Joseph Noteboom starting week 1 at left tackle. He was flawless. 38 reps in pass pro, no pressures, no sacks allowed. That Giants pass rush, like Wink Martindale, they were getting after it. They were trying to get after it. Not on the left side, they weren't, because Joseph Noteboom did a great job of stopping them, right? So, look, I think this is a mega opportunity for Joseph Noteboom. The reason why, he just agreed to a rework deal to stay in LA. He's in a contract year now, and he could play himself into another long-term deal with the Rams or with another team. And that's fascinating. But what's interesting about this whole thing, guys, is that when you look at it, the Rams could end up sticking with Noteboom if he plays well enough, even when Jackson comes back. And if they lose Noteboom in free agency after, say, he has a good year, right? Because there was a reason he was drafted in the third round. There's a reason why he was signed to a long-term deal. The injuries have kind of held him back, but he's a good football player. So he could net them a high compensatory pick depending on, how well he plays. And so I wanted to point that out because, again, this is why on the channel we're not going to just say the news and move on. This isn't just an informational thing where it's like Alaric Jackson was suspended 2 games. He won't be available for the first 2, and that's it. No, I want to dive a little bit deeper. So just letting you guys know that, Noteboom, I'm not concerned with Noteboom playing left tackle, 1. And 2, I'm kind of excited for the opportunity for him to really prove himself and maybe work a deal with the Rams after the season. Now, they could also get a compensatory pick like I mentioned, but this affects another player, okay? I mentioned Warren McClendon Jr., and yes, he's still in play because he's been taking first-team reps as well. But A.J. Arcuri, who I think has had a really good preseason. He's been by far the weakest link on the preseason offensive line, but I've been really impressed with the strides he's made regardless. He has not given up many pressures, I think 2 in total. So this is a guy who's in the driver's seat now to secure a roster spot on the 53, because Alaric Jackson, who is a tackle by trade, isn't going to count against the 53. He's going to go on the suspended list. That means you need a tackle, okay? So I think Arcuri is going to get that spot. This is kind of the interesting thing with, and this is why I decided ultimately, to do the every single week 53-man roster update, because this is what happens. Things happen. It's the NFL. The league never sleeps. And now all of a sudden, A.J. Arcuri wasn't on the roster 2 weeks in a row for me. Now he's going to make this roster, I think. So I'm excited for him. I think tomorrow is a big game for him, but I think he's going to make this team. He's taken significant strides forward. He's a draft pick. I like to see it. Now, this is a reminder. The Rams signed Alaric Jackson to a restricted free agent contract, a tender that was at $4.8 million this year, okay? He's also in a contract year, so not the greatest way to start your contract year. But again, no judgment, because I have no idea why he was suspended. I refuse to judge the man because I don't know what happened. I mean, I could have an issue with the NFL. I don't know. I mean, I have an issue with the NFL already for not telling us. So that's that. But the irony in all of this, if you take anything away from this, Noteboom has the large cap hit this year, okay? Much larger. He's got $11.6 million cap hit. This year was $20 million, but he worked out a team-friendly, deal with them to rework his contract and make it so they could save some money. Well, he now has the 7th most on the team, okay? And he's in position where, at first when people are like, I don't love paying $11 million for a 6th man on the offensive line, now he's a starting left tackle. And if he continues that up, that's some of the best value you're going to find of a not drafted left tackle. Left tackles are expensive. And so I don't know necessarily if he plays really well, if the Rams would bring him back on a deal that maybe he might want. But I think this is interesting. This is the NFL in a nutshell. I hate injuries, and obviously I'm not a big fan of suspensions, but this is a next man up league. If you have not figured that out by now, then you never will. This is a next man up league, and this is how a guy can revitalize his career. Noteboom is not a bad player by any stretch, but he has been a disappointing player, a guy that people had higher hopes for. Well, he can throw all that out the window with a good year this year and basically playing so well at left tackle that Alaric Jackson is going to have to knock him out quite literally to take him out of the left tackle spot. That, I think, is a real possibility here. It's an exciting thing. And while we can be doom and gloom about the idea that the Rams starting left tackle's out for the first 2 games, the worst comes to worst, and Noteboom's not great there. He'll be back for week 3 against the 49ers. But I wouldn't be surprised if Noteboom plays well enough where he has a stranglehold on this left tackle spot and he doesn't give it up. And I think ultimately the Rams are going to be fine either way, because I think Warren McClendon Jr. is capable of playing this spot. And I think Arcuri in a pinch could. I'm not saying he'd be amazing, but I think he could be that, swing tackle in a pinch that you could throw. So I'm not worried at all. The Rams have great offensive line depth. We've already been talking about it. And if you haven't been sitting there thinking, not Arcuri, but AJ Jackson is hurt right now, there's a chance he might not be ready for week 1. If you haven't been thinking that, well, now's your chance to start. Start getting ready to think about other guys in these roles, because this is why I keep saying the preseason's such a big deal. This is why I kept saying when people are like, no, Noteboom's trash, I was saying, no, Noteboom is very valuable. I would say he's a luxury because he's one of the best sixth men that you're going to find in the NFL on the offensive line. He's a starting caliber player. Disappointing, sure, but a starting caliber player that has great athleticism, that can pass protect and help in the run game, can play 4 out of the 5 positions on the offensive line, and you have him. Like he's locked in. So this is what ends up happening. I know he's, you like him a lot better as a sixth man instead of, starting, but that can change. So hopefully we've already seen these guys developing. And, if it's any indication, watching Logan Bruss get better with Wendell and watching Zach Thomas and Bo Limmer just emerging immediately, and Warren McClendon Jr. and AJ Arcuri, if those are any indications at all of what we are about to witness, I think Joseph Noteboom is in for his best year of his career. But we'll see. That's a big if, right? Big if. So we'll see what ends up happening. I will say this, Joseph Noteboom in that Giants game, he played his way into my mind as being somebody that's valuable for this team, whether starting or whether being that next man up. And right now, he's going to be asked to start the first 2 games, and we'll see what ends up happening. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think about Joseph Noteboom starting. Let me know if you think AJ Arcuri is going to make the 53. Let me know what you guys think about Alaric Jackson. I don't really want to speak on whether or not to feel like he's guilty or anything, because again, I have no idea what he was suspended for. I don't think that's fair to him. But, I just wanted to throw this out there. And you guys have already, added me and tweeted at me, hey, when are you going to talk about this? Well, I was waiting, but it looks like the NFL dropped the ball and isn't going to give us the information about why said guy is going to miss the first 2 games of a regular season that only has 17. Yeah, I'm a little bitter about that. But that's going to do it for me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. And of course, if you're still here, be sure to check out on audio. The link is in the description below if you want to listen on audio as well. Maybe not for this because you've already watched the full video to this point, but we are on audio like you guys asked for. Every single video from here on out is going to be in audio format. So check it out. All your podcast platforms, link is in the description. And of course, this video is brought to you by BetUS. I'll see you soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.